Okay, so one of my favorite and easiest ways to cook a perfect egg is a poached egg, and we do it in the microwave. Half cup of cold water, a fresh egg, the fresher the better. I like to serve this with a bowl of oatmeal. It makes for a really filling meal. I'm using organic whole rolled oats and some of my favorite condiments, and it's delicious and really filling. So we're going to take our fresh egg, we're going to put it in our half cup of cold water. We're coming into the microwave. I'm doing these 1 minute. Now your microwave might be more or less powerful than mine. So you might have to experiment with this to get the perfect poached egg. You want your egg whites fully cooked and the yolk runny. So you might have to do 50 seconds, or maybe 1 minute and 10 seconds. I don't know. You can experiment to get the perfect egg. Okay, our egg is ready. We're going to pull it out of the microwave. I'm going to get it right out of that water because it's still cooking. So I'm going to pour it into a slotted spoon. Let it drain. I'm going to let that sit. Now we're going to make our oatmeal. Very easy. Half cup of rolled oats, 1 cup of water. We're going to put that in the microwave. Come on back in for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, we're about ready to pull our oatmeal out after 1.5 minutes. You can see that it cooks it up perfectly. I'm going to use some maple syrup. I love it. It's a little expensive. You could use honey here. I'm now going to add a little milk. If you want to use almond milk or hemp milk or something, that's fine. I'm going to put my perfectly poached egg. I'm going to add some Tabasco to that, and some Cajun spice, which is salt, red pepper, black pepper, some other spices. And this is just a wonderful collection of flavors. Really tastes delicious. So easy. Okay, our water for our second way to do poached eggs is boiling. I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit because we want bubbles coming off the bottom of the pot, but not roiling at the top. So this looks about right. I've put a whole egg in the bowl. Once again, the fresher the egg, the better. All right, this is going to have to calm down just a little bit. Got a little too much bubbling at the top. Okay, so our second way to do poached eggs without an egg poacher, we've brought a pan of water to a boil. We've got bubbles coming up off the bottom, but not roiling at the top. That's what we want. We could have added vinegar to this. I just don't have any in the house. So it does help a little bit. I'm going to swirl the water in the pan. I'm going to take my fresh egg. I'm going to drop it in. The vinegar helps it not get quite so many of the threads. But we'll get rid of those. If you're not serving it to somebody else, you can eat the threads. They're perfectly edible. Okay, this egg is just about done. We're going to take our slotted spoon. We're going to take a clean bowl. We're going to bring it up. Oh no, that white needs to cook a little bit more. As you can see, the microwave way to do this is a lot easier and a lot faster, a lot less fussy. I think that must be ready. I don't like my whites. We want, on a poached egg, we want the yellow to be runny, but the whites to be fully cooked. All right, that appears to be about right. Bring up in our slotted spoon, let it drain, put it in the clean bowl, and yeah, look at that, perfect poached egg. Now we're going to put this egg on some asparagus and toast. Okay, so I've got some of my artisanal baked bread. It's whole wheat and oats with pecans and currants. I love it. I'm going to drizzle some olive oil. I'm going to put on my asparagus. On that, I'm going to drizzle a little of my homemade vinaigrette. Super tasty. And then we're going to slide our egg. And on top of that, we're going to lay our poached egg. Looks pretty, doesn't it? I like it hot. I'm going to add a little Tabasco. And a little salt and pepper rolled into one. And there you go. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, now let's do scrambled eggs. I'm just going to do one egg for now, but you can use as many as you like. I'm going to use a little avocado oil. Really like avocado oil for cooking. High smoke point. And neutral taste. Okay, so we got that. We're going to put an egg in our bowl. We're going to just beat it until the whites and the yellow are mixed well. You don't have to beat it into a froth, but I do like it completely mixed. Okay, I'm going to turn on the stove to high and give it a second till it warms up. Okay, let's put our eggs in. I'm going to use this spatula that won't scratch my nonstick pan. Think about doing eggs. Once you put it in the pan, don't walk away. I have a tendency to go over to the sink and try and clean things as I go. Not a good idea if you want your eggs to come out perfect. So there they are, a nice hot pan. And I want to just start stirring it right away. If I had a better pan, it would distribute heat more evenly, but that's fine. So I'm just letting the egg cook in a thin amount where it's touching the pan, moving it up. You don't want runny. You want it all cooked, but you don't want it cooked too much. And there you go. Fluffy, perfectly cooked scrambled egg. Okay, let's do some scrambled eggs with some spinach and onions. Really easy, very healthy. I'll add some sliced tomatoes to it. So let's get going. First, I'm going to use a little of my avocado oil. Turn on the heat. I'm going to add the onions. Gonna get some spinach. So this spinach is over a week old. But two things. One, the day I bought it, the farmer had just picked it that morning. And two, if you keep it in a bag and keep the air out of it, it really will last a long time. So while that's starting to heat up, let's crack a couple of eggs. I get these eggs at the farmer's market also, and typically they're quite fresh. I have a farmer up the road, so we're just going to mix this now. Not trying to beat it to death, but I want to mix the whites and yolks completely. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and slice this tomato. I like to fill my plate with color. So this dish is going to have red onion, spinach, some red tomatoes with lycopene. Just eat a wide variety of vegetables and fruits, and all those different colors mean that food has different nutrients in it. Okay? Spinach is wilting, almost ready. Bring down the heat to the next level down. Okay, we're going to add our eggs. And just like when you're scrambling an egg by itself, you want to get that egg in the bottom that's cooking up to the top. Keep changing positions. And by adding the spinach, we've added a little bit of complexity to this because that raw egg has attached itself to the spinach leaves. So you just want to make sure that we're getting all of the egg fully cooked, but not cooked too much. Okay, that is perfect. Let's put this on our plate. Let's add our tomatoes. I've got some chili habanero, and it's not really, it doesn't seem to me to be any hotter than my Tabasco, but it's got garlic and some other flavors in there that I like. So we're going to put a little on there. Let's just add some drops around the plate for presentation. And there you have it. Okay, in just a little bit, I need to head out of here. I'm going to see my dermatologist. All those years in the sun as a lifeguard at the Panama City Beach, hours on the golf course, hours out on the bicycle have taken their toll. And I think we're going to do an episode about skincare with that dermatologist. He's quite famous here in Costa Rica. At any rate, before I go, I was up at 4:30 this morning. It's after 9 now. I'm going to eat a little something before I go. We're going to do eggs sunny side up and over easy. So the pan is heated up. Once again, I'm using avocado oil. Works well with high heat, doesn't smoke. It's a healthy oil. We're going to get a spatula out. Here we go for our sunny side up. And I find the easiest way to do sunny side up is just to put a lid on the pan and wait a couple of minutes. Keep an eye on it. We want our egg whites cooked all the way through, and we want our yolk to be runny. So we'll check on it. Let's slide it around. Get that spatula and let's move that. Now, in the old days, before I started thinking about being healthy, the way I did sunny side eggs up was to cook a pan full of bacon, leave the bacon grease in there, and then splash the bacon grease onto the egg. Works great, tastes good. I have just chosen not to eat that way for the last 50 years or so. The egg is actually looking pretty good. I'm going to slide it onto my plate. We're now going to do over medium. So this cooking this way, the egg's going to wind up the yolk is going to wind up being cooked a little bit more. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Let's get rid of it. Once again, once that egg white starts to cook on the bottom, I'm looking for a point at which the egg will slide around in the pan. Really helps to use a good nonstick pan. Bought this at Walmart, Tramontina. It's not very expensive. It's been rated well by various consumer groups. Okay, there we go. I'm going to try not to break this yolk. Doesn't always work. There we go. Turn the heat off now. All right, to my eggs, I've added some tomatoes, avocado. I'm going to add some Tabasco sauce. Some Cajun spice, red pepper, black pepper, salt, and there it is. But I'm going to make up 7 hard-boiled eggs for the week. These are great snacks. They're great in for a recovery meal, coming back from a bike ride or working out on the weights. I gave away to a friend the original egg holder that came with the Instant Pot, but this rack works just as well. So I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put in my eggs. We're going to get them spread out so they're not touching each other. And the rack is holding them up out of the water. I'm going to add a cup of water. The eggs sit above the water, so they're being steamed. They're not in contact with the water. We're going to put the lid on. Make sure that the steam vent is closed. And we're going to press pressure cook, which I've preset at 6 minutes. When this gets, when the steam builds up, this little metal piece will pop up and seal the pot. And at that point, it will count down to 6 minutes. When it gets to 0, we're going to do our own timer for an additional 8 minutes, and that should make perfect hard-boiled eggs.
Ready.
Okay, so our little metal piece popped up 6 minutes ago, and the timer is wound down to 0. Should start on 1 in just a minute. I'm going to set my own timer for 8 minutes so that as I'm moving around the house doing other stuff, I won't forget it and overcook the eggs. So here's my timer, 8 minutes. I'm going to start it, and it'll yell at me when it's time to pull the eggs out. When it is time to pull the eggs out, we're going to put them in cold water. So I'm going to get some ice. And some water. And we'll have that ready to pull the eggs out when the timer sets off. Okay, so timer says it's going to go off in 40 seconds. Clock on the Instant Pot says we've had 8 extra minutes after the 6 minutes of pressure cooking. So I'm going to double check. There's still a little steam in there, but not much. Going to let that out. Okay, we're going to open our Instant Pot. I just set the top into the handle. I'm going to pull out my eggs and put them in the cold water. And so this is one of my little secrets for flavoring. Tony Chacher, Cajun spice. It's got salt, peppers. I like spicy food. I like hot peppers, jalapenos, habaneros, Panama chilies. But this kind of goes on everything. I don't cook with salt, and I certainly don't cook with sugar. So because it goes a lot further. A small amount of salt will add just as much taste to your food when it's added after it's cooked as if you put a lot of salt in when you're cooking. So let's see if one of these eggs is, if I'm able to handle it yet. Okay, a little Tony Chacher. And there you have a perfect hard-boiled egg. If you like this video and others from 105 Minute Meals, please subscribe. Hit the like button and hit the bell button so that you get notifications when we come out with new videos. Pura vida from Costa Rica.